Hello everybody. Let's do some yoga together. So, if you have a block or a small foam roller, you can use that as a little support system to sit on. Otherwise, you can just take your favorite seat. So if you're with the optimal prop, go ahead and place it between your heels, with your knees about as wide as your hips. And we'll start with Virasana, the hero pose. And for anyone out there practicing for whom this is prohibited for knee reasons or ankle reasons, please just choose an alternate seat that you're comfortable in. Whether you've got your eyes open or closed, we'll start with a very easy practice, and that is simply be aware of all the sounds. They're all just right there. My voice, voices behind you, voices in my environment, all the ambient noises, machines, cars, boats. Just take it all in. And all of that, in a sense, is just another sense of touch. Just the vibration of air touching the ears and everything our brain does to bring it to life. And next, with your eyes open or closed, just notice the other kind of touch that we usually associate as the sense of touch. How your body feels on the ground. Against the prop. How the air feels around you. Maybe just a sense of different parts of your body that feel particularly vital and alive, and where the experience is clearer. And there may be other parts that feel a little whatever they feel. I don't want to load it too much. I don't know how it's feeling for you. but just notice how it feels. And you probably turn to this without any prompting, but here it comes nonetheless. Notice how your breath feels in your body. It's intimate enough when the air comes into contact with your inner ears. But here we're really enveloping the air and taking it in just like a nutrient, just like water. In fact, it is a fluid. It's just a gas, not a liquid. And sort of, feel your body processing that fluid. Where do you expand? Where do you contract? Where are the sensations strongest? And just in a meta way, we're noticing. So at any given moment, we're maybe taking a specific area or sensation or quality to drop into. But with almost any meditative experience, we're also noticing when our mind wanders, when we drift, when other stuff bubbles up. And then we're coming back to that initial point of focus. So just in the last minute here, eyes open or closed, let's stay connected to breathing sensations. Right. Next, let's move into a little more gentle movement sensations. Obviously, we're tracking moving breath, but even more specifically now, a little movement in your neck. So if you need to change up your seat, feel free. If this still feels comfortable and stable, we'll just be here for a couple more minutes. But please allow your head to gently flex. Let's roll downward, forward. And then allow your head to gently return to neutral, passing neutral into some upward, backward extension. So you're passing through neutral, entering the flexion territory, and passing through neutral, entering the extension territory, one more per side, per direction. Oh, simple but satisfying. Okay, next, we're gonna let the head swivel side to side. So like you're looking over one shoulder, which you might literally do. Okay. And then let's come back to center, last one. Let's tilt side to side, ear to shoulder. One more side to side. All right. Bonus. Let's go forward and backward, mainly backward. So that backward is, the unflattering momentary double chin, and then neutral. I mean, obviously that's not the intention, but it does sometimes manifest. But that retraction of the head, that ceasing to let your head be forward, the mindful drawing back but keeping the eyes at eye level. It's kind of a simplified version of the skull loop. Rather than sensing a full loop here, we're basically just going back where the bones that the tongue attached to, going backward toward the back of the skull, like where you adjust a baseball cap. Last two. Last one. Nice. All right. Let's transition up. So, just make your way to a comfortable stance. The feet can be as wide as the hips or a little bit more narrow if that feels better. And what we're going to do are it's a little bit of a riff. You can play with it to some degree, but there's also some kind of specific instructions that come with it. It's a nerve glide. It's like this movement for your wrist, for your forearm, for your shoulder, for your neck, for this whole line really. And you're just gonna like basically play with flexion and extension. So right here I'm flexing my wrist in, and then I'm extending backward like a back bend. I'm actually gonna flex when I'm coming up and extend when I'm going back. Flex up, extend back, curl, reach. Try about 10 of those. I guess that was pretty specific, but we'll get a little bit more explorative in a minute. Okay? Last couple. And this might feel a little bit nervy. It might hit a lot of, spots muscularly as well. Last one. Okay? Then let's try the opposite arm. Flex in, extend back. You're moving with the forearm, the shoulders activated, but it's a lot of movement directly in the wrist joint. I think these feel so good. All right, next, put that in reverse. Do the back, the back bend at the top and the forward bend at the bottom. Arch, flex, arch, flex, arch, flex. So now I'm back bending at the top, cupping, forward bending at the bottom. Last couple. Oh my God, that feels good. Please switch arms. Back bend, forward bend, back bend, forward bend. Oh man, that is good business right there. Okay. Now last round, maybe we'll slip in one more after this, we'll see. Go to arm one, and you can do either of those or kind of just play and be explorative, because you can kind of see it works in either direction. And also let your head perhaps twist or side bend away from the scene. Oh, that's nasty. Oh. I mean, in a good way, right? It's like a satisfying stretch, but it's there's a new level of intensity when you integrate the neck. So now I started working the same arm, but the opposite tilt of the head and the opposite angle with the same arm. So now as we can get pretty explorative. Oh, that's good. All right. Last round, new side, where we're getting pretty explorative. Whether you're doing forward bends, back bends, at the top or bottom. We went through both. Maybe you're even adding a little more arm reach. And then really one of the big distinctions on this last round to explore. Ooh, letting the head tilt, side bend, or turn, twist, away from the arm. Last couple, y'all. Get it while you can. Oh, awesome. Let's come back. Okay. Let's bring the forearms together. It's actually a little more challenging than it seems like it might be. Forearms together down at the elbows. And then separate the hands, 45 degrees. And then go from 45 all the way to 90 if you can. I can't quite get there. What's that, about 70? 75, 80? Oh, 85, getting close. And try about 10 of those. So you're keeping the elbows squeezed. I'm leaning slightly forward just to keep my trunk braced. But it's mainly about, working the wrists, forearms, clearing space around that carpal tunnel. Oh. carving a path so you can get down on all fours with the hands in extension. Plank pose, dog pose. Last two. Oh, last one. Bueno. Let's close the hands up. Seal the hands at the heels. And roll that fist around in a few circles. Whoa. Circles the other way. Then let's take those interlace fingered hands and press them straight out at shoulder height. Lean forward a tiny bit. Squeeze your butt. And then let the arms go up any amount. Okay. Next, we're going to reach the arms forward again. And release. Okay, now we're going to reach one arm forward, just one. Palm up. And then reach that hand straight up and over. So you're holding the space between your shoulder blades. Palm on your back. Keep the ribs braced. Glutes engaged. Take this free arm, the free hand over here, and guide the elbow. Either upward, over a little bit. Just tweak the stretch a little bit. Obviously you want to make it sweeter. Couple big breaths here. Yeah, that feels good. All right, and then release. Ooh, new side. Reach the arm forward, palm up. Literally just reach like straight up and over your shoulder. The available hand can guide this elbow upward perhaps, inward perhaps, backward perhaps. Oh gosh. Alrighty, everybody, let's release that. God, that feels good. Next, we're going to clasp the hands with open-heeled wrists. That's kind of the easy version. So if you're really flexible, and let me actually just rephrase. If you're pretty stiff in the shoulders and getting your hands to bind behind you is really challenging, take this allowance for tonight, for today. If you're already pretty supple and your hands can get back there fairly easily, definitely lean into this. So it keeps a little more productive tension so that you're not just going into like wet noodle version of flexibility. It's a little bit more productive in terms of like just achieving mobility. Passive flexibility is great. I teach it. We've already done a little bit. But active mobility is good too. So if you need this allowance, take it. Hands behind the back. If you can seal the deal back there, seal it. About 5 big breaths, maybe 10. So, kind of coming back to all the trunk stuff, try to retract the head a little. Try to pull in the ribs a little. Squeeze the glutes. Oh. Feel the shoulders roll a little bit backward and downward. Last couple breaths. Possibly the arms are reaching higher if they're sort of stuck on your tail, or further back, or even further down. Great. And release. And then just one more time, that exact same exercise. So you're binding if you can bind, you're staying open if you need it, but new hand on top. If you're like, I didn't take note of that, whatever comes naturally is probably what you did round one. So kind of the opposite of that for round two. Now maybe you feel like you've discovered a little bit of, you've tapped into a little bit more flexibility since round one. Maybe you can seal the hands for this one. 5 big breaths here. Head retracted. Torso and a little bit of flexion. Slightly lift up through your pubic bones. Maintain some engaged glutes. Last 2 big breaths here. All right. Bueno. Open those arms out like a cactus. You can have this straight up angle here, or this one that's got a little more of a diagonal quality. Spread your fingers. Run through that checklist one more time. Little retraction in the head, little squeeze in the torso, little contraction in your glutes, and then open the arms backward, which will splay the ribs a little bit, but, you know, minimize that. Oh, God. And then come forward. So inhale and open up. We'll connect with breathing. Exhale and come back. So we've done this one before against the wall. This open up would be you're flush to the wall with your arms. You can do it down on the ground, which we've done as well. Arms flush to the ground. Now here, obviously, you don't have the feedback of a wall or the ground. Oh, but you also have the opportunity to go even further than the wall or ground would allow you to.
Where are they coming? Where are they going to get people?
Last few. So I think sometimes in the weightlifting circles, these are flies. All right. Oh, God, that feels good. Now from here, everybody, just come to that gentle open, not squeezed all the way back. And then this little scarecrow move, where one comes down, that shoulder's inwardly rotated. One stays up, that shoulder's externally rotated, and you're just swapping. Let's try about 10, 9, 8, 7. Let's release that, everybody. Awesome. One more from here. Twist. 30 seconds more. If you want to add any features that you might, just know on your own, go for it. A few that we do fairly regularly. Sometimes we open out, and sometimes we go the other direction and cross. So both of those are fine. Last few.
I would like to remember when I put it in the comments, remember?
All right, let's bring it on back. Next, we're going to take a straddle, a very narrow stance, one where you could literally be on a balance beam. So you're going to have your right and left foot on the same line. Whoa. I always think that's going to be so easy. I came to the edge of my mat just to make sure I'm on a line, but obviously you can just do it in the center of your mat. Try to square up your hips. Neutralize the shoulders. Neutralize the head. Oh, God. And obviously work to find your balance. So the balance is an ongoing thing to contend with. Some of you feel like you just, got it stuck. That's awesome. For some of us, it might feel like, whoa, that's the ongoing work. But we're going to add one extra layer. Just barely hinge forward. And reach your arms actively back and down. So you want to really feel those triceps thump. Your shoulders push backward and downward. Your arms are active. I often say like a rocket ship right along your side. Like there's a little jet propulsion down out your fingers. Next, take the arms out like a letter T. Straight out like a cross. Then next, revisit that cactus shape we did up and down, but just try the up version. And then lastly, 10 and 2 o'clock, flexed up along the ears, letter Y shape. One more time, everybody. Rocket ship, straight down along your side. Abducted, out to the side. Open like a W, out to the side. And up. And then lastly, that letter Y shape. And then release. Switch sides with your feet. So you're still in that exact same straddle position. There are occasionally a few little bugs, so if you're like, what the hell is he doing? Swatting around. Okay, because I'm sure you can't see them. Anyway, don't want to seem like a complete super freak. So we're lined up on the new side. Toes straight ahead, hips straight ahead, shoulders straight ahead, head straight ahead. 2 times through, four actions. Down and back. Dial in that balance, head backward. Out. Open like a W. Up like a Y. Last time through. Really try to keep that balance. Square everything up. Letter I, straight down along your side. Letter T, straight out from the shoulders. Letter W, fly, open up from the shoulders. And then lastly, the Y. Y in relation to your spine. Two kind of wider arms than your spine coming down like an uppercase Y. Awesome. And then release. Let's go back to side one. Back up. Now this one, no arms, no shoulders, but we're going to walk the line. Good Johnny Cash song. All right, we're going to walk the line, but when you get to the end, you're going to turn around and basically if you're on a balance beam, you'd be on that beam the whole time. So here I'm literally on the curve. I don't know if you can see me. You walk, 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 turn, stay on the curve. Walk, 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 turn, stay on the curve. So it's the transition that's kind of tough. Even just walking right on it. I mean, really, it's not that tough. It's kind of more up in your head. It's just walking narrow. A lot of us actually have a gait that's fairly narrow anyway, but it's just doing it very conscientiously and then trying to make the turn. Last couple. I couldn't help but use the curve there. That was awesome. Just makes it, really drives it home. So I'm literally going to fall off it if I don't keep my balance. Okay. This one's so good for just neurological reasons, for ankle development. It's very simple, but great. And some of my favorite PTs seem to really endorse it as well. Anyway, one more here. Come to a neutral stance, feet as wide as the hips, and simply lean forward. It's surprisingly potent. Neutral, and just try a couple times. It's mainly ankle and calf and kind of footwork, because that's kind of what takes a lot of the lean. But your legs light up, your glutes light up, the whole kind of backside of the body activates. It's great. Two more. Yeah, that's so simple. Last one. Oh, man. Next. Kind of a cross between that standing up on the beam, but we're going to get a little wider. So the allowance will be like now it's like, you know, the width of 4 beams, maybe 2 or 3. Take your right foot forward, left foot back. Hinge a little at your hips. Take the arms out to that letter W. Bend your front leg a little bit and open up into that W shape. Now, I teach so much lunge in general, and even this is modified, but we're pretty much except for the W, in Warrior One at this point. You've got a back foot that's turned in, but it's grounded on the ground. The heel's down. You've got a front foot that faces straight ahead, knee straight ahead, and bending. We've got a little extension in the back, opened up into that letter W shape. Then please straighten the front leg, collapse the hands, or just close them across your chest, and let your back round a tiny bit. So to be, on point technically here, these are the legs of Purvottanasana, where we usually have reverse prayer. And then when we open, we're going to basically find the legs of Warrior One. And we're leaning into all the neck work and all the shoulder work that we did in warm-ups. And in a sense, this straddle. Close. Open. Close. Open. Now, there's a lot to contend with here. I have taught this one over the years. If you're plugging in on kind of all levels and you want to connect breathing rhythm, inhale through the open, exhale through the close. Otherwise, let breathing just happen decoupled from movement. Last one. Warrior One. With that open cactus shape. Purvottanasana. With arms out in front. All right, everybody. Let's switch sides. Oh my God, that feels so good. It's such a great move in the legs to just hold that whole while as well. Front leg going back and forth, bend straight, back leg staying straight the whole time through. All right, we ready? Open it up. Ooh. Oh, my back, inner upper thigh is just not wanting to go anywhere on this side. Damn. And then closed. I personally am not coupling with breathing for these first few. I just want to make my way into the movement. Really feel it out. Trying to turn that back hip forward. Oh, and ground the heel. We're letting a little bit of extension happen, but you never want to, crank hard on your low back, of course, so modify. And when we're straightening that front leg, we're letting the torso draw in and back and getting this crossed arm seat. Basically the opposite of the W. If you're feeling like all cylinders are firing and you want to go at breath speed, this is your opportunity for inhale. This is your opportunity for exhale. Otherwise, decouple. Just focus on movement. Oh, man. Virabhadrasana 1. Viniyoga style. So I say somewhere in my description that I have influences that run through the Krishnamarcharia lineage. Last one, everybody. And release. Let's come back to neutral. God, that feels good. Let's stand with the feet slightly turned out. Heels close together. So Krishnamarcharia was the teacher of BKS Iyengar. That's the Iyengar lineage. Krishnamarcharia was the teacher of Pattabhi Jois. That's the Ashtanga lineage. Krishnamarcharia was the teacher of and the father of Desikachar. It's the Viniyoga direction. So all three of these, like basically the big three yoga traditions that came to America, Viniyoga, I put it over here, Ashtanga, Iyengar, they all go back to the same dude, same teacher, Krishnamarcharia. And I personally didn't get to study with any of those four, but with a handful of teachers who had connections with all three of those lineages. So in the Viniyoga connection, I studied closely with Kraftsow, who was connected with Desikachar, the sun, and I studied with many of the top Ashtanga teachers that were directly connected with Patabi, and then many of the top Iyengar teachers who were directly connected with Iyengar. So I don't have allegiance to any of those three systems, but kind of pick from all of them as I see most appropriate and fit for the situation. So anyway, that was Viniyoga inspired. That was a long blurb. Anyway, felt like I wanted to finish that though. So let's just stand for a moment, everybody. We're going to work our way down in a second. Bring the hands to the heart. And just connect. About 5 big breaths here. Big breath here. Then on your next inhale, open up those arms, reach out and up, and on an exhale, hinge downward and forward. Now from here, everybody, walk your way out to a plank position. So to be clear, we're walking out to a plank position. Come down onto the forearms and just be here for 10 breaths. Now we're pretty much winding down, although into breath 7, 8, 9, 10 might be peak intensity. So there's not going to be a lot of intense stuff to follow. So really try to stick this one if you can. Now, if you need this to be even stronger, you can always lift a leg. Oh, man. That's significantly harder. Or you could reach an arm forward. Last 2 big breaths, everybody. Try to stick it. And let's come down and rest on the belly. Oh, goodness. We're going to flex one arm forward along the ear. We're going to extend one arm back. Obviously, we've done a lot of that this session. But we're going to bend the leg that matches the extended arm and see if we can catch hold. Tuck under the chin. Salamba Ardha Dhanurasana. That Salamba means you're supported because we're lying down with it. Ardha refers to it just taking place in half the body. And Dhanurasana is a bow pose. Please switch sides. Oh, God. New flex, new extend. Bend. Catch. Oh. Tuck under the head. Maybe lift up the pubic bones just a little bit. Alright, everybody, let's release that. Oh my God. Lastly, we're going to before we go into Shavasana, we're going to prop up onto the forearms. Sustain a little comfortable extension. Bend both legs. And let each shin and foot, the top of the leg. Now that's a conundrum. Is this the top of your leg or the bottom of your leg? It's the top right now because there's nothing higher than it, but obviously we normally think of this as the bottom of the leg. So whatever. The ankle, shin part, let those guys go out. Now, the key element of those shins and feet dropping out, please stay on your belly. But the key element of those shins and feet dropping out are these thigh bones rotating in. Chuck Berry playing the guitar. Yeah? So you've got inward rotation. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's getting dark. It's getting dark. Too dark to see. But I've cued so much inward rotation, y'all. You guys know where we're at with this one. So one last minute before we go belly up. Just, oh. This should feel awesome. For many of us, this just opens up the back in two ways. Line and extension. Creates a little length, traction-wise. Being an extension, let's say. Being belly down releases pressure around the nerves. And I love glute strength. I talk about it all the time. It can change your relationship to your low back when well developed. But for right now, the glutes are off. And that release of any pressure around this part of the sacrum is just kind of part of what we're leaning into for this particular shape. Last few breaths here. Comfortable passive extension. Inward rotation. Just freeing up the spine so it feels so comfortable back there. Man, that really feels fabulous. I do this pose a lot at home. Okay, everybody, let's close out. Now, obviously you're at home. You could cut out and just be done. Or you could set up for a long corpse and stay in corpse long past when I formally conclude. Or, we can just all stay together and, you're in it for about 4 or 5 minutes. So please make your way into Shavasana if that's your deal tonight. I pretty much always encourage a little, yoga nightcap of concluding with Shavasana, but you're obviously on your own. So please, everybody, come to a nice, comfortable resting shape. Oh. Some good flying fish out there. Obviously they're not flying, but really, really leaping. All right. Let's get a little taste of corpse pose. Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahe Tejasvaye Namitamasu Avidvahavashai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected. May we be nourished. May our studies be effective. Let there be no animosity amongst us. Peace in you and me and nature. Peace in all the forces. Peace. Alrighty. So, please make your way back to a comfortable seat. It can be the one you started with, if your block's nearby, or just a simple cross. Alright. So, thank you everybody for coming. I hope that felt good. Namaste.